This is another lesson on functions, specifically determining whether the relation that is represented is a function or not. So you can see that we have graphs, tables, mappings, and sets of points. Each of these is a relation. What we're just trying to decide whether or not it's a function. So we're going to say yes or no. If it's yes, that means it's a function. If it's no, it is not a function. Now let's just talk about what a function is. Really simple explanation is that each x value can only have one y. So anytime you have an x value that has exactly one y value, it's a function. If you have an x value with more than one, it is no longer a function. So let's take a look at the two graphs. So we've determined the domain of this function are the x values. The domain of the relation is the x values. And we're going to go to each of those x values. How many points are there at -2? I only see one. So that means there's exactly one y for that x value. So that point checks out. Are there more than one point at -1? I only see one. There's only one point where x equals 0. There's only one point where x equals 1. And there's only one point here where x equals 2. This one is a function. So yes, this is a function. On example 2 here, we have, again, these green points. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points. At -2, I only see, I'm just going to look vertically here, I only see one point. That means that when x is -2, y is +1. There's only one output. How about at -1? I see 2 points. So at -1, I have y value of 1 and a y value of 2. Right here is where it fails, okay, because there's 2 y values for that same x value. You can't have 2 points at the same x. So this is not a function. Okay, let's move on to the tables here. So at -2, so there's a -2 here. Are there any other -2s that you see? No. There's only one -1, there's only one 0, there's only one 1, there's only one 2. So if you look at the x values, there's no repeating x values, which is a good sign. When there are no repeating x values, it is a function, period. That's how you can tell using a table. And over here, the green one, 2 repeating x values. Now that doesn't automatically disqualify it. What you have to make sure is that the y values that match up with that repeating x value are different. This is not a function. Mappings. A lot of arrows here. Every single arrow represents a point. So what we're looking for in a mapping is that each x only has one arrow coming out of it. So -2 has one arrow. -1 has one arrow. 0, one arrow. 1, one arrow. 2, one arrow. This is yes. But over here, you can see that -1 has 2 arrows coming out of it. This is not a function. Okay, it doesn't matter that all of these things go into the number 1. It does not matter. Now, we're going to put all this together here, and we're going to I'll look at this one first. We can see that the number 1 happens twice, and the y value that is associated with the number 1 is different, not a function. Here, no repeating x values. This one's safe. So yes, it is a function. In the next video, we're going to talk about the vertical line test.